Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces on this hot Sunday morning. Trust you're all finding ways to keep cool. And I'm Sarah Benson, and we're going to start with a couple of songs. And our beloved Yvette's here today, and Paul Smith is here, who some of you know from way back, to do some special music for us. So it's going to be a great morning. If I invite you to stand if you'd like, and let's make some music together.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, sing your joy in me. Sing your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, sing your joy in me. Sing your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is. Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is, God is all there is.
Beautiful, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in the heart of Las Cruces. I'm Reverend Bonnie, the community spiritual leader here, where our vision is a world in loving partnership for the good of all. And I want to welcome people who are visiting today for the first time. We have packets of information in the back that have a gift certificate to the bookstore in it, so be sure to pick one up. Yes, you're more than welcome, and I am so grateful to see everyone here. Today, we are working on our June service project. After the service, you can stay and help put packets together with Teresa and sign cards to give to the VA residents for 4th of July. We have only so far collected enough things to fill 15 packets, and the goal was 60. So Teresa's going to make up the difference and welcomes any donations of finances that you would like to give her to go pick up the stuff and put those together. But we will put the 15 that we have together after the service. And we are excited for our new board that is up and running. And the new board is inviting all of you to join us together. We're going to work together to collaborate to see what the forward direction of this center is, and not just for us in this room, but everyone who uses the center as their space, that calls this their home. Therefore, you are all invited to stay after the service July 9th. There will be food, and you are welcome to bring finger food to share or a sack lunch. We will have small group discussion over the food, and then a larger group discussion with everybody after we eat. All of this prior to our board meeting, at which time you're welcome to leave or stay and join the board meeting, either one. The board meetings are always open. And we are also continuing to be open for a qualified member of the center to step up and join the board as an appointee until next May. We need a few more people on there just to give it a little more viability. And so we would welcome anyone who feels called to do that. See me, see Carrie, our new board president, and let us know if you're interested in stepping up in that way or feel that call. We're also looking for someone to train with Bob to help on the Zoom on Sunday mornings, so that he's not the only one that has to sit behind that screen every time. So we need somebody who's into techie stuff, who wants to learn more and just volunteer some time on Sunday mornings to help out with the Zoom. And that includes if you know anyone, if you've got a family member or a friend at the university maybe who's learning about this stuff, send them our way. They can do an internship here and help us out on Sunday mornings. And I'm excited to let you know, you might have seen this hanging on the wall back in our community area. There is a Serving Boldly Music and Ministry with Ricky Byers Music Symposium, which is taking place July 14th and 15th. And our two amazing musicians who have stepped up for us, Doug and Sarah Benson, are going. We are so excited they are going to attend. They've chosen to do that on their own, and they gratefully receive any donations you would like to give them to help with gas and housing and all that as they go. But they have chosen to do this because I know they're going to come back energized and bring some amazing things back to the center after spending some time with Ricky Byers. It'll be phenomenal. So just wanted to let you know that they were doing that. And we have our activity coordinator, Janice, is sitting right here, and our admin, Judy P. They've been conniving some amazing and fun things. So the next fun event is July 1st, next Saturday. They're going to do a sidewalk sale right out here with some of the things from the bookstore that we want to move on through. And they've put packets together to give people information about who we are. So they are welcoming anybody who wants to help, show up, be a part of planning these in the future. From 8:30 to 1 next Saturday, they will be out front representing us and selling things out of the bookstore to help. And some of it are things that Janice has made that will go directly to operations and helping the support of the center itself. So see her if you'd like to pop in and join in for that. And then just to let you know, on the 4th of July, which is a Tuesday, the office will be closed. So the office itself and the bookstore will be closed. I don't know if other meetings will still be, usually the meetings keep going no matter what. And I am excited because I think almost everyone is in the room who took this thing called U, and I have your certificates. So I will call your name, just come stand in front. And Edie, if you'll get your phone and take a picture when we're ready. Bridget is not here, Bridget Austin. Doug and Sarah Benson, come on forward. There we go. Gretchen Blay, come on up. Karen Boyer. I know Karen's in the house. There she is. Kay-Ann Covey. We're going to get the whole audience up here. Janice Fowler, come on up. This was a great class, as you can see. You can have some people stand on the step in front and move forward, then we'll get a condensed picture. Christy Kemp isn't here. Carrie Porter, come on up. And Matasco, come on up.
Okay, move so I can see everybody.
Wait, I got Matasco coming up here.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, thank you. It is always fun to connect and join as a family and as a community through these classes. And so now I am inviting our current board president, our new board president, Carrie Porter, to the platform.
Good morning, everyone. Please give me a moment while I pull up my document. There we go. And I'm going to have to take off my far glasses to find my close vision. Let's see here. Okay. There we go. And give it a second to pull up. I am grateful for this amazing organization. It has become my spiritual anchor in a time of great uncertainty. You may not know that in the last 3 years, I have lived in 4 cities, 3 states, and made 2 cross-country moves. I've had significant changes in employment and relationships. But I'm happy to say here that I believe I've landed. CSL has become my home for learning, connecting, and evolving. The book studies and classes provide insight and enlightenment. The participants and congregation are accepting and supportive. And the New Thought philosophies are paths to new growth and deeper understanding, unparalleled in other religious institutions. Here, I commit my spiritual service. As of mid-May, I serve the CSL Las Cruces Board of Trustees with Gretchen Blay and Karen Boyer to support and advise. Our purpose aligns with Spirit in manifesting our mission to offer spiritual guidance, programs, and host events that appeal to and meet your wants and needs. On July 9th, we are gathering to discuss our potential, share ideas, and explore future directions for CSL and our sister community, Unity, in our expressions of Spirit as New Thought congregations in the Mesilla Valley. We will share observations, opinions, thoughts, and possibilities. If you feel compelled, please consider what you might bring to CSL Las Cruces as our destiny unfolds. I hope to see you at the gathering.
Well, good morning again to some of you, and good morning to all of you if you were here before or not. My name is Tina Bailey. I'm a practitioner here, and I'm delighted to be here. And I see a bunch of wonderfully smiling, shiny faces. So I appreciate each of you being here this morning. And as you all probably know, we believe in the power of prayer. Very powerful prayer. And the practitioners and Reverend Bonnie and the ministers and some lay people from the other New Thought communities meet together once a week and focus on the prayer requests so that we do prayer with you, not for you, but with you. So we invite you to put a prayer request in. You'll find them on the backs of the chairs. And you can also go on the website. There's a button that you can press and submit your prayer request. They're kept in confidence. And we know how powerful prayer in this community is. So we'd also appreciate if you put in a gratitude card when you know what you've put a prayer request in for, how it has manifested. And trust us, it may not be exactly what you tell Spirit you want, but just say thanks to life expressing through you. And if you are in need with any prayer, a quickie prayer session this morning, see one of us that has this magnificently beautiful robe on that I coordinated with my blouse today. And we'll be glad to do a mini treatment with you. Also, our phone numbers are on the website if you're in need of spiritual assistance. And put the prayer request in on the website if you want. So now it's time for song, silence, and prayer.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. Oh, the very face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Oh, you are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. The very face of God. The face of God. You are the beautiful face of God.
I know that each one of us here is a magnificent expression of spirit, enjoying our lives and living our lives and watching our lives unfold in wild and wonderful and sometimes puzzling ways. But the truth is, we are each one a divine expression, and God is our partner. And this community is a wonderful place to be, to know your own strength, to remember who you are, and to step out hand in hand with Spirit, inviting goodness and blessings and love and joy with every step you take on your walk of life. Life is grand, and it is so. I have to find my reading now. Since you are fundamentally a mental being, you can think yourself into being unhappy and depressed, or you can think yourself into being glad. Did it ever occur to you that you can also think yourself into being well, into being prosperous, that you can think yourself into success? Well, you can, if you believe in the law of life and use it rightly. And we come together here to learn how to use it rightly and affirmatively. You must learn to identify yourself with your desires. And you must become the master of your own thinking. This is the only way you will realize true freedom and joy. And we want to see it expressing on your faces. And so it is.
Well, we have especially special music today. I'd like to introduce you to Paul Smith, and some of you have known him from, he was a part of this community back in the day. And, but yeah, he's here to do some songs for us. If you'd like to, just share briefly about what you're up to now,
Sure,
feel free.
you bet.
All right, excited.
Good morning. Boy, can't tell you how good it feels to be back here. It was home for many years here at this building, and it still feels like home to walk in and see the old faces and a bunch of new faces, which is wonderful to see. But yes, I was a music director, and we had a choir at that time as well in the 90s, from 92 or 3 until about 2002 or 3. I was the music director here, and trying to think of how many times I've been on the stage, and well over 500 is about as close as I can get. So, like I say, it feels like home to me. And my wife and I moved to Deming in 2004. I finished my degree, and we moved to Deming, and I got a job in the public school teaching guitar there. So that's what I've been doing ever since until October of this year when I retired. And so now I tell you the truth, I'm searching for my way a little bit. I didn't plan to retire, but it was part of self-care. I know that's what you guys are talking about this week. And, I did it a long time, and it just got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. I wanted to finish off this past school year. I had planned to make it, until May, and I only made it till October. So it just got to be too much for me. And it was a tough change to make. And it still is. I still feel like I'm in the transition, to tell you the truth. Even 6 months later or whatever it is here. So I'm wanting to play. And so I appreciate the opportunity from Sarah and Bonnie to invite me here, the chance to play again and to get out and play my music and for like-minded people. So that's what I've been doing. Sue and I have been partners for 37 years. We just celebrated 25 years of marriage last April. As a matter of fact, Randy Granger came down and did a service for us for that. But we've been together 38 years, because we just did another anniversary a couple of months ago. Couple of grown-up kids, my youngest, Bonnie, and I know that it's been about 30 years since I've been in the church here since we started here, because Bonnie just turned 31, and I think she was about 6 months old when we brought her, when we came to our first service here. That time it was called Mastery in Life, but it's the same Spirit, same God as it was back then. So I feel good about that. And I have another older daughter, Amber, through those years, our kids were young in the 90s when we were here living in Las Cruces, and this community really helped me raise my kids in many ways. Through babysitting, there was times when food was provided for us that I can remember, and so I have much thanks for this community. Very grateful to see that it's still a home for people that they can come to, and very grateful to hear the wonderful music. You guys sound beautiful, and you guys are in good hands musically, so that makes me feel real good as well. So I want to play a song for you this morning about going through tough times. I mean, every one of us goes through tough times, I think, at one time or another, and through the longer we live, the more tough times it seems we go through. And you just have to, in the middle of the tough times, it seems like it's never going to end, right? You get to that point where it just seems like, oh, I'm stuck in this place, and it's never going to get better, but it does. It does. If you push on through, if you believe, if you have faith. Sometimes faith is all you have. But you have to kind of push on through. And it was inspired by, the metaphor for it was a big storm, a summer storm. My wife and I were driving home from Silver City one night, late. It was close to midnight, and there was one of those big summer storms coming through. And we could see it for miles before we got there. And then we hit that storm, and debris was flying everywhere. The winds were high, hail was coming down. And in the middle of it, it seems like it's never going to end and you're never going to make it through. But when you push on through, eventually you get through it. and are stronger for it, hopefully, too. So this is called The Other Side. Ooh, how about some volume there? My mind is weary from too much worry. I just can't seem to get ahead. I feel discouraged and downhearted. My hands are aching from holding on, but I believe we will weather the storm, girl. Just hold my hand when the winds get strong. And when lightning strikes and the rain pours on you, we'll push on through to the other side. When that storm rolls through, it will leave you shameless. It will test your spirit. It'll try your soul. But those summer storms, girl, they move quickly. Then the clouds break to see a rainbow there. And I believe we will weather the storm, girl. Just hold my hand when the winds get strong. And when lightning strikes and the rain pours on you, we'll push on through to the other side. My soul's been searching for some direction. Is the path I've taken the path I should be on? But I'm tired of waiting. My heart is yearning. I've been working so hard for my time to come, and I believe we will weather the storm, girl. Just hold my hand when the winds get strong. And when lightning strikes and the rain pours on you, we'll push on through to the other side. We'll push on through to the other side. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome back home. Good to have you here. He has a daughter named Bonnie, last name Smith, but we're not related. Glad to have you. And we have another fantastic person we're welcoming back home this morning, our beloved Yvette. We are so grateful to have Yvette Trujillo here, who has been a student of New Thought for over 20 years. She's a musician as well, religious science practitioner and ministerial student right now. Yvette's mission is to reveal humanity's inherent compassion and loving kindness. So welcome Yvette to the platform.
Good morning. Got some special goodies down here. I don't want to mess it up. Oh, just a second to look around the room and recognize for myself in this moment that Spirit truly is operating in everything, truly in everything. Anytime that I begin to doubt that God is operating in, through, and as me, what I see is evidence that that is absolutely what my life is operating in. I am swimming in a sea of God, and I am made up of God. And I know that, and I wanted to start with that just because, we started with beautiful meditation that Tina gave us this morning, and it just resonated with all the things that I wanted to say today and all the things that I'm holding in my heart. And then I hear the beautiful music this morning that just touched me so much. And not just like, oh, that's so nice. It was like grounding. I felt like I got more strength in my spine and in my bones. So I just wanted to share that to begin with as a demonstration of what I'm talking about today. So I want to ask you all a question to begin with. How many of you have been here for a little while, like been coming to Centers for Spiritual Living, maybe even before they were called Centers for Spiritual Living? How many of you? Okay, a good show of hands. So I know that when I walked through the doors of my first Center for Spiritual Living, I was knocked off my feet. It was a profound experience. First of all, there was a woman on the pulpit. I grew up Catholic, and I remember telling my godmother, I know what I want to be. I'm going to be like Father Dennis. I'm going to be a priest. And she was like, I'm sorry, honey, you can't do that. So that's when I knew I couldn't be Catholic. I also really recognized that through the talk, there was zero guilt. There was no shame. It was all uplifting, and that was remarkable. I hadn't actually experienced that before. And at the end of service, there was an announcement for a group, a small men's group that was for gay men's golf. And so what that meant to me is that I was safe. I belonged. Even though the rest of the world may have seen me as different, I was safe in that Center for Spiritual Living up in Seattle. But the thing that I remember most about that experience was that as I was walking out of those doors at the end of service, I could feel that I was vibrating with an amazing sense of possibility. I don't know that I could have even named it at the time. Maybe I got the words for it later, but I was buzzing. And I know that that sounds a little bit familiar to a lot of you because I've heard a lot of people share with me their experience of first walking through the doors. So if you've been here for a while and that sounds familiar to you, fantastic. We resonate. We're like kindred spirits. If you're newer to these beautiful communities of Center for Spiritual Living, you're in for an amazing ride. It's going to be a lot of fun, filled with infinite possibility. One of the experiences that I had walking into the center is one of peace. I felt as if I had found my home that I'd been longing for, that I didn't know I was going to find in a community like this. And there was also this intense feeling of this kind of tentative excitement, like, oh my gosh, could this really be so? What they're talking about? Could this be real? And maybe you all have heard this, or maybe you were told this as a child. You can do anything you want to do. And you can be anything that you want to be. And so I've heard people tell, parents tell kids that, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. That's great. Maybe we're setting kids up for something. I mean, honestly, I felt like I was jaded by life. That, can life really be everything that we want it to be? Can we do what we want to do? We can. What if we could be everything? What if we wanted something? Oh, and here's what Tina said. So whatever you wish it to be, Tina said this morning. Whatever it is that you wish it to be, not something that someone's putting on you, but what is it that you want to be? What is it that you wish to do? What if that were really possible? And I know that when I first walked through the doors of Centers for Spiritual Living, that was the message of this philosophy that hooked me. It got me. It shook me up a little bit because I'd gotten jaded. Rumi says, stop acting small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Anything is possible. So today we're going to embark on a journey of self-discovery, like we usually do, to a place of really knowing deep down. We may not be able to get there today, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it as a place that we can be, that we know way deep inside ourselves. And it's like an old memory, like a whisper of an old memory, because this isn't new. This is the truth of who we are. This is the truth of who we have always been, that we have within us the key to unlock our highest good, whatever we wish to be, whatever we want and imagine that good to be. We have that locked within us. So I'm here today to remind us all that we have the power to go beyond our limitations and reach our full potential. We have that right now. And this beautiful life that we get to live, this gift of living in this, this unique expression that we each are, this life is about tapping into that truth that's always been within us, tapping into it, a lot like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Right? Dorothy at the end had these ruby slippers, and she was told everything you were looking for was right here with you all along. It's always been with you. It's always been with me. So this month we're talking about embracing self-care. And it has been a beautiful series of heart-centering and silence and deep breathing for me. Of like just take, even when I'm in the middle of it, just for a couple of seconds of, I hope that you've had that kind of impact in the relationship with this series this month. And this week, the title of my talk is Self-Care in the Mirror. And so what we're going to explore today is a journey of personalizing the infinite to such a degree that when we see our reflection in the mirror, we see the face of God. That when we catch ourselves walking by a store window and we see that, we say, oh, divine, I recognize you. I know you. And that it is a moment of joy. Sometimes I walk by store windows and I'm like, oh, did I really choose to wear that today? Oh my. But when we tap into this realization and we start to do self-care and recognize ourselves that we have everything that we're looking for, we recognize our infinite possibility. We recognize that we are, in fact, God in form. And we see ourselves in every reflection that we happen to catch. So how do we move to a state of recognizing, believing, and experiencing that everything we're looking for has been right here? How do we do that? So first of all, we realize and we remember that we're one. that we're one with the divine. It is a central principle of science of mind that we realize and remember that we are not separate, that we are one with it. And we are here in this amazing, unique incarnation of spirit to dive into this incredible journey of remembering our oneness, right? Through this appearance of separation, which, quite frankly, I enjoy quite a bit as human being. And I know that a lot of times we talk about like, oh, we get to our oneness. We have to recognize our oneness. And yes, and this life of distinction, this life of our senses, of being able to see a beautiful turquoise hat and smile so large in the beautiful, blue sky, and feeling that really nice heat on my skin this weekend. I felt like it was a blanket over me. And although it was challenging, and I live in Albuquerque and I lived in Seattle for 20 years, so spending some time in this heat was really like wrapping myself in a blanket of being home. And it is that distinction, that experience of what looks like separation, that I get to enjoy that. And we are one. We are one with each other. We are one with spirit. And so as we are working towards the experience of that true reflection of God in the mirror, that's the way that we would care for ourselves, when we would see ourselves as God in that reflection, we need to remember that we are one with spirit, that we're not separate, that divine presence that created the universe, that created nebulas. Have you seen those things, man? They're amazing. The sunsets here. The reflection on these beautiful mountains. That's you. That's me. The divine expressing itself so beautifully. Not some separate thing, not something that has to, work and toil and be frustrated and downtrodden, although sometimes we do have that experience, but we know we're going to get to the other side. Rumi also says the universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are. And you might be saying, well, that sounds really great, Yvette. That's fantastic. It sounds really nice. So how do we do that? How do we begin to do that, to see the reflection of ourselves as the divine? Well, there's some really cool tools and tips that we have. But one of the things that's really important is for us to align our thoughts, right? Change your thinking, change your life. If you're brand new here, that's a thing. Change your thinking, change your life. And so what we want to do and what we do is we begin to shift our thinking in alignment with what we would imagine, what we would know to be true if we remembered that we were the divine. If we remembered that we were whole, perfect, and complete, how would we be thinking as we looked into the mirror? So when you align your thoughts, you will start to think like the powerful, unlimited being that you are. You begin to think in that way when you start aligning yourself with that truth. Brene Brown, who I totally love, I dig her, I talk about her a lot. She has a very wonderful quote, to talk to yourself like you would someone you love. Talk to yourself like you would someone you love. And that struck me so hard, y'all, because that has been a problem my whole life. I have struggled with awful self-talk my whole life. If I ever opened my mouth and uttered what I say to myself to another human being, I would be punched in the face a lot. I'd be walking around with black eyes. I personally have had very terrible self-talk. But I remember this particular time at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Martha Quintana, who's the founding minister at that center, had a talk, and I don't know exactly how we got to this point, but I remember she caught my attention because she said, you can't talk to my friend that way. And she was talking about the way that we talk to ourselves. You cannot, she has power. If you've ever met Reverend Martha Quintana, you're like, oh, she's got some power. And you cannot talk to my friend that way. And it hit me because of the way that I have always talked to myself. And I took that with me, oh my goodness, and I would have a thought, Reverend Martha says you cannot talk to me that way. And I did it over and over and over and over again. And something began to happen. The thoughts, the voices, that awful talk began to fade away into the distance, and something more beautiful began to come forward. It was magnificent. I felt so powerful and so at peace. And when I looked in the mirror, at least it was quiet. Baby steps, right? Baby steps. So when you start thinking in that way, when you start thinking like the powerful, unlimited being that you are, you start experiencing yourself and your life in the way that demonstrates your belief that you are one with the divine. Your life and interactions with life begin to change and to shift, because your attention has shifted from the things that aren't working, from the negative self-talk that you have been having, into self-talk that is uplifting and enlivening. And when we do that, what begins to happen is that we begin to have different engagements in the world, right? All of a sudden, there are interactions with other people that are uplifted. They're so nice. These folks are just so good, and they're offering to help me. And they're saying hello and actually having a conversation with me. Or now I'm like, I just ran across these opportunities this week. It was amazing. I don't know what's happening, where this came from. It didn't come from anywhere. It was always there, just like the stinky stuff. But when we shift our own attention, when we turn our minds to the possibility that we might be an expression of God, that we might be an expression of God, then what we begin to see reflected back to us is the good of God in every direction that we turn. But it's not new. It was always there. We just had our attention somewhere else. So your day-to-day experiences begin to reflect what you're starting to believe. You are one with the universe, and the universe is in a conspiracy for your good. The universe is in a conspiracy for your good. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind and the author of the book named Science of Mind, on page 189 says, the answer to every question is within man. The answer isn't out there. You might talk to people that bring information to you, but the answer is within you. And the shift to be able to hear those sounds, those words, those affirmations reflected back at you is because you've made the shift within yourself. But what happens? What happens? Why is that not just like, woo, I'm aligning my thoughts with spirit, and now everything all of a sudden is fantastic? Well, what happens is that we have doubts. We don't quite believe that we are the divine expressing itself perfectly as us. And so we need to go to work. And, I've said this a lot here, is that this philosophy is not for the faint of heart, because we do a lot of work. We don't just sit here and say, okay, yes, I believe that. Oh, I'm going to repeat that to myself. No, we go to work to demonstrating it for ourselves. We demonstrate it for ourselves. So we need to do the work in order to begin to align our thoughts. And that doubt is something that we have to go to work to remove. So sometimes you will find that your thoughts are a little bit stubborn, right? I don't think that I'm great. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough money. I'm not attractive enough, whatever. All the thoughts. So we're going to think those thoughts sometimes because that's just what happens to us in life, and it might be difficult to align them with the truth that you're trying to hold as a possibility in your head. And all this means, y'all, is that we have doubt and we need a little help. That's it. We need a little help. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You didn't make a mistake somewhere. We just need a little bit of help. And that was kind of what happened to me with Reverend Martha and her guidance of, you can't talk to my friend that way. I was going along so happy and so great, and then I stopped. I just stopped practicing that. And so I reverted back to my old way of thinking and all of those voices in my head that said I was not enough with some expletives tossed in. All of those voices came back with a vengeance. And there was some learning that I had, and so I did have some grounding. I carried that with me, but I went back to my old ways. And so all that means is that I needed a little bit of assistance. So if your thoughts are centered around not being good enough, right, you're not alone. One, at least you have me. Maybe nobody else in this room, but at least you have me. And if you have that, you might want to shift your beliefs, right? You might want to, of ones of maybe not being good enough. But if you want to have a life experience that's different from the one that you're experiencing because you think you're not enough, as in that example, then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to eliminate those thoughts. You're going to need to get rid of them, right? That's the work that we have to do. Because it's like a funhouse mirror. When we're looking in the mirror, it's distorted, right? It's different or less than who we really are. And what that does when we look in the mirror and we have that distorted image, that is blocking our good. It is like a big boulder on the road of wherever it is that we want to go. It is blocking our good. And these limiting thoughts limit your ability to realize and manifest your infinite potential. Right? So they're just these big boulders in the way. That's all it is. It's not horrible, you're not bad, you're not horrible, you're not broken. There's just some horrible blocks in the way. So how in the world do we go to work to removing those blocks? Right? So this is the deeper one. We just keep digging down deeper. How do we go to work to removing those blocks? Well, first of all, we have to become aware. We have to recognize what it is that we're thinking. God, I'm not enough. Every time something happens, whatever the thought is. We have to become aware and recognize that we're having those thoughts, right? So we start by becoming aware, but it's really important that we do so without judgment. Without judgment. We need to recognize that doubts are normal. And they can arise from past experiences, from our childhood, from conditioning or fear. There is nothing wrong with you because you have doubts. Actually, my friends, this is the push and the pull of creation. This is the push and pull of creation. These are the hands on the clay on the potter's wheel. This is the chisel against the stone. It is the tension of living that creates you, and you are the artist. So there is nothing wrong. This is perfect. If you have these doubts, if you start doing the negative self-talk, you're like, again, I did it again. Here you are, you're forming that clay and you're chiseling away at the stone. You are at work, and it's beautiful and sometimes hard. The next thing that we can do, and there are lots of tools, folks. I really love these three, so I'm sharing these three with you. Affirmations. Do y'all know what affirmations are? So there's affirmations and there's denials. So the you can't talk to my friend that way was sort of a denial. Affirmation is a positive present tense statement. And we repeat it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again so that we can begin to shift our thought. We have the thought. Here's how it happens. We have the thought, and then life goes on, and we're like, wow, things aren't going well. I wonder what's happening. I had a thought 2 days ago. And then you begin to shorten the distance between when you recognize that you're having a thought that is not actually embracing the truth of who you are, and then that distance becomes shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, and that is called self-mastery. And if you're not familiar with this, please take a foundational class. Take Self-Mastery. It's a fantastic course. This is how we begin to learn how to shorten the distance between all of the automatic stuff that goes on in our heads, and the new stuff that we're trying to put in there so that we can transform ourselves to having the life that we want to live. So positive affirmations reprogram our mind. They shift our mind. And we repeat these affirmations that align with your desired beliefs and intentions. For example, right? I trust my abilities. I trust my abilities. I trust my abilities. I trust my abilities. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of success. Short, simple, to the point, but you use it to replace the other thoughts. I am supported by the universe. Affirmations. And the last tool that I just love and is so important to me is self-reflection and self-compassion. So regularly reflecting on our progress and on our achievements. It is so easy for us to just be like, oh, nothing's happening. There's not any big transformation. I haven't gotten a new job. I didn't get the pay raise. My house still looks the same, whatever, right? It can be whatever. But it's very important for us to really take a look at how we're progressing, no matter how small our steps might seem. It's important for us to notice them and to acknowledge them and to celebrate them and to celebrate ourselves for making that progress. We celebrate our success and we are compassionate with ourselves when those doubts begin to arise again. Right? It's a very, very loving and gentle way to do this work, because remember, the doubt is a natural part of growth, and it does not define your capabilities. Amit Ray, the author of Nonviolence, The Transforming Power, says, give time and space to sprout your potential. Arouse the beauty of your heart, the beauty of your spirit. There are infinite possibilities. So it is true, friends, that in order to harness your full expansive potential, right, there has to be a complete conviction in yourself as one with spirit. And this life is a beautiful journey, not a destination, even when the destination is your full potential, which is pretty cool, and we talk about it and we want to get there, but this is a journey. So what happens between here and there, each and every step, is God in action, right? Even when we take one step forward and 2 steps back, that is God in action. And every one of those steps brings us into greater alignment. Every misstep and every memory lapse. Y'all, I forget all the time what I know here. I've been studying this for almost 25 years. I forget all the time. And it's not, I do have a bad memory, but that's not what it's about. I forget. And so I just have to remember and do the work and do the affirmations and do the awareness and the recognition and begin to reflect and be compassionate with myself. Because every single one of those steps is no less God expressing. And it sets, although you have your sights set on full expression, you also want to enjoy the ride. And when we do this work, this is the ultimate of self-care. When we do this work, it's like lifting weights. It's going to the gym for your soul. Because you love yourself, because you want to have an experience of being that light in the world. And I know that if you're in these rooms, there is something inside of you that wants to step more fully into that beauty and wholeness of spirit. There is something that is calling you forward, even if you can't remember it right now. Maybe you just came for the music, which is fantastic. It's great music. You are the divine expressing. You are moving forward. I wanted to end on a lyrics from a song called Enjoy the Ride by Janice Stanfield and Jerry Kimbrough. Kimbrough, something like that. It goes, life is a fast train through peaks and valleys, streets and alleys and countryside. You never know just how far you're going. The trick is to learn to enjoy the ride. We have our baggage packed in childhood. It holds us back till we let it go. But on this journey of a lifetime, you can go fast or you can go slow. So why do I scare myself like a backseat driver? Thinking of train wrecks most of the time? But as I analyze, theorize, philosophize, the trick is to learn to enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. This train thunders on with no end in sight. The trick is to enjoy the ride. So do the work, my friends. Do the work and enjoy the ride. Namaste.
Up and down, up and down. Okay, as we enjoy the ride, let's just take the ride within. Practitioners are already surrounding the room. They're so good. We have a great group of people holding us in consciousness and spirit. So just go within, recognizing that oneness. And I'm picturing my face in the mirror. You picture yours. And reach your hand out and just hold hands with your friend, your best friend. And how does he or she speak about you? How are you taking this journey, this amazing ride? Are you smiling at each other, telling each other you love each other, and enjoying the ride? I am so grateful for this reminder that we are one with Spirit. And it is Spirit looking back at us. The song, You Are the Face of God, was perfect this morning. You are the face of God. God expressing in so many different ways. Each face is the face of God. As I look in the mirror, I'm looking at God, my best friend, my companion, the one I walk through this life with from beginning to end and on and beyond. And so again, I'm grateful for this reminder so that when I look in the mirror, I can smile and say, hi, my friend. Hi, it's God, it's Spirit right here in me, as me, expressing right now. And so I just marvel at how it feels to have this reminder alive in me at this very moment. And I just awaken in you the opportunity to feel that, the potential that Yvette talked about, that potential of who we are expressing as the divine is right here, right now. And so we can move into gratitude for that, giving thanks for what we're seeing in our mind's eye in the mirror, giving thanks for who it is that we are as God expressing, knowing that we are a unique and important aspect of Spirit right here on this planet in this moment. And so in this space of gratitude, I just release these words, knowing they embolden us as we move forward in this week. Each person we meet is also the face of God. And every time we see our reflection, whether it's in a window as we're walking down the street, or in the mirror at home, or in a bathroom out in a restaurant, wherever we are, what we see reflected back is God. And so we say together, thank you, God. And so it is.
Well, I'm going to shift gears here from what I had planned because of the message today. Thank you, Yvette, for a very powerful message for me personally. And it's been a while. Coming back here is emotional for me, so it's hard to sing. If I crack every now and then when I'm singing, forgive me, okay? It always comes out in my voice for some reason. But I'm going to do a song that I wrote when I was 16 years old. Now, I'm 61 now, so you could do the math, figure out how old that song is. And, you know, I've always just done this song because it feels good. It's got a nice up-tempo tune. And, you know, I'm not really sure what it's about. I think I have a little bit more idea today after listening to you what it's about. But it was just, you as a creative person, sometimes the songs, they actually do just kind of write themselves. I know that sounds weird, but especially with music, God speaks through you. And when you're writing, it just kind of comes out. And the words, I don't know what they mean, but maybe you can tell me when we're done. But it's a song called The Feeling That Never Ends. I think it's just about love. Well, I forgot how it felt to be in love with myself. And I forgot how it felt to walk in the rain. I forgot how it felt to go to another planet. But now I'm here, it seems so very real. Well, I forgot how it felt to rock and roll with my friends. I forgot how it felt, the feeling that never ends. I lost it for a while, but now I think I found it. And now I'm here, I'll never go back again. I'm back in the mountains again, back where the clouds touch the face of God. And somehow this feeling never ends. It's just the same old song, the same old melody. Now, come on, everybody, join your hands. Won't you help me with this newfound symphony? Now, brothers and sisters, join together. 'Cause the feeling is right, the feeling that never ends. That's why I'm back in the mountains again, back where the clouds touch the face of God. And somehow this feeling never ends. It's just the same old song, same old melody. It's just the same old song, same old melody. Ooh, it's just the same old song, same old melody.
Thank you again. What a thought. He wrote that at 16 just for this morning. Fabulous to wrap up Yvette's talk. And thank you, Yvette, for your message, and Paul for wrapping it up in that song. It's amazing how Spirit works, isn't it? Thank you so much. And now we get to consider how it is that we give back to the center. I gave you options for supporting people sort of separate but part of the center. Now we're looking at how we support this center. And 10% of everything that comes in, we have the collection plates in the back as you leave, we're not passing them hand to hand yet, goes out into our community. So we're part of this community, that weaving 16 weaves into 61 and has a perfect expression. And how it is that we're part of this community is just like that. It all weaves together. So this month, we are giving to the Las Cruces Alzheimer's Association. And you can read about the mission and vision. I don't want to take any longer this morning. We've gone over, but it's great to be here, and I appreciate all of you being here. Let's say our affirmation together. Divine love through me expresses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. That's where the word expresses instead of blesses came through me, and it was just exactly what you've been saying. Let's sing our song, I Am So Blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you again to Paul and Yvette for your message through music and through the word. Please stay after and help Teresa with our service project. Thank you to Bob for doing what you do over there. Sarah and Doug for the music. What an amazing morning. Thank you all. Let's stand as you are able, and don't forget we've got practitioners in service. If something's come up for you today, they'll do a treatment for you right after the service. We're going to sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our center, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song of love. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Have a beautiful week.